Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors, professionals, officer, officials, listener, learners, the most honorable present Prime Minister Modi ji, respected, I welcome all respected doctors and directors. I welcome all honorable ministers and managers. I welcome all honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators, and advisors. It is really nice time, nice place, nice action today. You are listening 3M creators, India to abroad in the different countries in the form of unity in diversity. Supreme Court to hear plea to stop cash donations to political parties. Parties must disclose the name and all other particulars of the person paying any amount of money to it, and no amount can be received in cash so as to maintain transparency. Petition in Supreme Court. From New Delhi, the Supreme Court on Monday agreed to examine a petition to stop cash donations of even up to 2000 rupees to parties for the sake of transparency and to bring every political contribution, no matter what the amount, under the income tax regime. The bench of Justice Vikram Nath and Sandeep Mehta issued notice on the plea that the Election Commission must not spare parties from disclosing even cash donations up to 2000 rupees, and they should be made to divulge complete details of their donors. Political parties must disclose the name and all other particulars of the person paying any amount of money to it, and no amount can be received in cash so as to maintain transparency in the political funding. The petition said the petition has arranged. Besides the issue, the Union Government Central Board of Direct Taxation and 13 parties, including the BJP, Congress, Dravida, Munera, Kadram, Communist Party of India, Marxist, Trinamool Congress, Samajwadi Party up as respondents. The petition filed by Khem Singh Bhati challenged the legality of clause of Section 1, Section 13A of the Income Tax Act 1961. Section 13A is a special provision permitting tax exemption to political parties. Clause D of the provision allows parties to accept donations worth 2000 rupees in cash. Goa government does a U-turn on Tiger's presence in state. From New Delhi, the answer to whether tigers reside in Goa depends on who is asking the question. The Goa government earlier this year argued before a Supreme Court appointed committee that there was no permanent presence of tigers in the state. Senior JDU leader appointed pro tem Speaker of Bihar from Patna. Janata Dal United leader Narendra Narayan Yadav, who won an eighth consecutive term in the recent assembly. Paul took oath as pro tem Speaker of the Bihar Assembly on Monday. Government Arif Muhammad Khan administered the oath to Mr. Yadav at Raj Bhavan in Patna. Mr. Yadav, 74, has been a member of the Legislative Assembly representing the Alamnagar constituency in Madhepura district since 1995 and is among the senior most JDU leaders. Mr. Yadav defeated Bollywood beloved icon Dharmendra is no more. From Mumbai, veteran actors Dharmendra Keval Krishan Deol, affectionately known as Dharmendra, passed away in Mumbai on Monday. The 89-year-old Bollywood legend had been in and out of Mumbai's British Candy Hospital several days. Earlier this month, he was later discharged and continued his treatment at home. On Monday, a police statement said that the actor passed away in the morning and funeral arrangements were being made at the Shrivail Paral Seva Samaj crematorium. crematorium. The actor is survived by his wives Prakash Kaur, Bollywood's beloved icon Dharmendra is no more. Goa tops in digitization of SIR forms. Kerala lags. Election Commission says enumeration form of 99.07% people have been collected and over 47% of them digitized. BLO's race against time to finish exercise. Many complain of workload. BLO threatens to kill himself, cites SIR pressure. Modi to hoist flag atop Ram Temple today. PLO in Bengal stays stir over preparation. Dust to dust. Wells have gone dry and dust forms a thick coat over nearly every surface in the one sylvan landscape of Uthirmere in Tamil Nadu. Quarries and stone crushing units are slowly eroding quality of life and living the residents in a belt of 60 villages in distress. Last year, a public hearing for a query witnessed very angry exchanges between farmers and an IAS official. We told him to travel with us by bike without a helmet to feel the kind of dust we inhale from the trucks carrying the stone without cover. People are getting asthma and wheezing. If one were to have a bird's eye view of Uthira Merur Taluk in Kanchanpuram district, it would possibly be a canvas of grey with small patches of green. However, it was not like this in the not so distant past. BLO's stage protest over work pressure outside West Bengal CEO's office clashed with police. Demonstrators climb atop police barricade, raise slogans against AC security personnel, evict protesters amid commotion. 10 lakh enumeration forms identified as uncollectible so far, CEO says. From Kolkata, विमानन क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता की दिशा में बड़ा कदम। हैदराबाद में फ्लाइन एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन सर्विसेज इंडिया सुविधा। प्रधानमंत्री आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए करेंगे उद्घाटन। भारत में विमान इंजन सर्विसिंग क्षमताओं को मिलेगी मजबूती। एसआईआर पर पश्चिमी बंगाल में घमासान तेज। ममता बनर्जी ने केंद्र को दी खुली चुनौती। बीजेपी नेता शुभेंदु अधिकारी ने चुनाव आयोग को लिखी चिट्ठी। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में एसआईआर मामले की सुनवाई भी आज। यूरेशियन आर्थिक संघ से एफटीए पर आज से वार्ता। संविधान दिवस आज। देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कई कार्यक्रम। संसद भवन में भी आयोजित होगा कार्यक्रम। राष्ट्रपति, उपराष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री, लोकसभा अध्यक्ष होंगे शामिल। विमानन क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता की दिशा में बड़ा कदम। हैदराबाद में फ्लाइन एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन सर्विसेज इंडिया सुविधा केंद्र होगा शुरू। प्रधानमंत्री आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए करेंगे उद्घाटन। भारत में विमान इंजन सर्विसिंग क्षमताओं को मिलेगी मजबूती। एसआईआर पर पश्चिमी बंगाल में घमासान तेज। ममता बनर्जी ने केंद्र को दी खुली चुनौती। बीजेपी नेता शुभेंदु अधिकारी ने चुनाव आयोग को लिखी चिट्ठी। Admission should be based on merit from Srinagar. Amid concern over SIR in Bengal, Mutas stage hunger strike, seek citizenship under CAA, ठाकुर नगर वेस्ट बंगाल। राष्ट्रपति, उपराष्ट्रपति महोदय। हैदराबाद में फ्लाइन एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन सर्विसेज इंडिया सुविधा केंद्र होगा शुरू। प्रधानमंत्री आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए करेंगे उद्घाटन। भारत में विमान इंजन सर्विसिंग क्षमताओं को मिलेगी मजबूती। स्वस्थ रहने का उपयोगी विकल्प है योग। एसआईआर में पश्चिम बंगाल में घमासान तेज। Extend deadline for giving objection in water laws for cancel post ठाकरे's clearances from Mumbai. Thackeray cousins Udhav and Raj wrote a letter to the Maharashtra State Election Commissioner Dinesh Bagner on Monday. Assam government to table unofficial Mehta panel report on 1983 poll violence in House CM says from Guwahati. Gujarat police complete verification of 3L834 people. 1 year on, Sambhal stays peaceful amid tight security. PM Modi to hoist flag atop Ram Temple tomorrow to mark its completion. Ahead of his visit, CM Adityanath conducts on-site review. Nearly 7,000 security personnel deployed in the city. Uttar Pradesh Police and SSP intensify vigil along the India-Nepal border. Hardly any incident of crop burning in past 10 days, official says from New Delhi. Ayodhya was all set to receive Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was scheduled to land in the temple city on Tuesday for the Dhwaja Rohan flag hoisting ceremony to signify completion of the Ram Temple construction. Was the event was attended by Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh Chief Mohan Bhagwat and UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. During his visit, Mr. Modi will first greet the people of Ayodhya and then proceed to the temple. Around noon, he was hoist the triangular saffron flag atop the temple. Around 10 a.m., he visited the Saptamandir complex to offer prayers at various temples and then offer prayers in the sanctum sanctorum of the Ram temple, according to a statement issued by the Prime Minister office. Around noon, the Prime Minister hoisted the 10-foot high, 20-foot long triangular saffron flag atop the temple. He also addressed a gathering on the occasion. The flag raised on the spire of the temple, built in the traditional North Indian Nagara architectural style surrounding it was an 800 meters enclosure crafted in South Indian architecture, reflecting India's rich architectural diversity. The outer walls of the main shrine display 87 carved stone panels depicting episodes from Lord Rama's life based on the Valmiki Ramayana, while it 79 bronze panels on the perimeters illustrate scenes from India's cultural tradition. Ahead of his visit, Mr. Adityanath on Monday conducted an on-site review to ensure seamless planning and arrangements and passed necessary directions to the concerned officials. A statement issued by the Uttar Pradesh government said a total of 6,970 security personnel had been deployed in the holy city as part of heightened security measures and anti-drone technology and advanced monitoring systems are also operational on the temple premises and surrounding areas. Personnel tasked with crowd management, security screening, explosive detection, and emergency response have been stationed across key locations. Special units including bomb squads, dog squads, IP protection teams. Fire units and rapid response teams are active in the city according to the UP government statement. The Uttar Pradesh Police and Shastra Sima Bal have also intensified vigil along the India-Nepal border here ahead of Mr. Modi's Ayodhya visit. Uh, Rajganj Superintendent of Police Somendra Meena said security agencies have been instructed to verify the identities of identities of for people crossing the border to prevent the movement of terrorists. The movement of terrorists. Hardly any incident of crop burning in past 10 days, official says. Amid concern over SIR in Bengal, Motas stage hunger strike 6 citizenship under CAA. Extend deadline for giving objection in voters' rolls or cancel pause start repressions. Assam government to table unofficial Mehta. Panel report on 1989 poll violence in House CM says. संसद भवन में राष्ट्रपति वर्ष लोकसभा अध्यक्ष होंगे शामिल विमानन क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता की दिशा में बड़ा कदम आज होगा संसद में कार्यक्रम संविधान दिवस हैदराबाद में सफरान एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन सर्विसेज इंडिया सुविधा केंद्र होगा शुरू प्रधानमंत्री आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए करेंगे उद्घाटन 6 बच्चों ने हासिल की अंतर्राष्ट्रीय फेडरेशन की भारत में विमान इंजन सर्विसेज क्षमताएं SIR पश्चिम बंगाल में घमासान तेज Hyderabad police firm up evidence in 20 crore rupees piracy probe against Imadi Ravi. Investigators say that he used the money from the piracy racket to purchase flats and plots from Hyderabad. Supreme Court में SIR मामले. As the 5 days custody questioning of Imadi Ravi, also known as Iboma Ravi, came to an end on Monday. Officers from the Hyderabad police said that they have built solid evidence against him of the money flow linked to advertisement and wider data trial. An official involved in the probe said investigators had been tracking the movements of Himadi Ravi for weeks. According to the officer, surveillance on one associate led them finding a message confirming that Ravi was in Hyderabad. The officer said the custody questioning allowed the team to build concrete evidence to what he described as a complete analysis of money flow, advertising links, his involvement in the betting application, and the wider data trail. Imadi Ravi, 39, a native of Vishakhapatnam, who is a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, is the primary accused in the piracy racket. Police said they seized hard drives containing nearly 21,000 films in multiple languages. Investigators believe he earned about 20 crore rupees through the operation and used the money to purchase flats and plots. Roughly 3.5 crore rupees in his bank accounts has been frozen as the inquiry progresses. छह बच्चों ने अंतर्राष्ट्रीय फेडरेशन की रैंकिंग हासिल की राष्ट्रपति उपराष्ट्रपति लोकसभा महोदय आज होंगे विमान क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता की दिशा में बड़ा कदम सिर्फ 4 साल में 25 से ज्यादा राज्य स्तरीय टूर्नामेंट में भागीदारी और करीब 20 बार टॉप 3 में जगह अहमदाबाद में इंटरनेशनल वुमेन्स डे टूर्नामेंट में नन्ही बच्चियों ने मेडल जीतकर सबको चौंका दिया और जब गांव में ही टूर्नामेंट हुआ तो हर उम्र वर्ग में जहां के बच्चों ने जीत हासिल की अब तक 6 बच्चों की मिल चुकी है FIDE रेटिंग। गुजरात का वो गांव जहां बच्चों से लेकर बड़ों तक को है चेस का चस्का। एक गांव एक सपना, एक बच्चा बनेगा ग्रैंड मास्टर। शतरंज की गोटियां सजाते नहीं खिलाड़ी, शतरंज की गोटियां सजाते नन्हे खिलाड़ी। सिर्फ 100 घर लेकिन सपनों की उड़ान पूरी दुनिया तक। यूरेशिया आर्थिक संघ। संविधान दिवस आज। देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कई कार्यक्रम। संसद भवन में भी आयोजित होगा कार्यक्रम। एक गांव एक सपना, एक बच्चा बनेगा ग्रैंड मास्टर। शतरंज की गोटियां सजाते रहने खिलाड़ी। राष्ट्रपति उपराष्ट्रपति महोदय लोकसभा अध्यक्ष आज होंगे शामिल संसद कार्यक्रम में। हैदराबाद में सफरान एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन सर्विसेज इंडिया सुविधा केंद्र होगा शुरू। प्रधानमंत्री आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए करेंगे उद्घाटन। 6 बच्चों ने हासिल की अंतरराष्ट्रीय फेडरेशन। भारत में विमान इंजन सर्विसेज क्षमताओं को मिलेगी मजबूती। SIR पर पश्चिम बंगाल में घमासान तेज। ममता बनर्जी ने केंद्र को दी खुली चुनौती। बीजेपी नेता शुभेंदु अधिकारी ने चुनाव आयोग को लिखी चिट्ठी। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में SIR मामले की सुनवाई भी आज। यूरेशियन आर्थिक संघ से FTA पर आज से वार्ता। संविधान दिवस आज। देशभर में आयोजित होंगे कई कार्यक्रम। देश पूछता है जवाब देना पड़ता है। संसद भवन में भी राष्ट्रपति उपराष्ट्रपति प्रधानमंत्री और लोकसभा अध्यक्ष होंगे शामिल। फ्रेश चैट्स tying MLA to sexual misconduct put Kong on the mat in Kerala from Thiruvananthapuram. Government liable for ceiling fan falling in a baby in TFC. Leopard calf rescued after falling into pond in Kerala. LDF candidates win unopposed in 2 words. Andhra Pradesh to issue smart family cards by 2026. ममता बनर्जी ने केंद्र को दी खुली चुनौती। बीजेपी नेता शुभेंदु अधिकारी ने चुनाव आयोग को लिखी चिट्ठी। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में SIR मामले की सुनवाई भी आज। All eyes on Rahul Gandhi to decide on leadership change in Karnataka. BLO threatens to end life in Kerala. Officials come to aid. The officer is heard saying that he is facing severe stress and harsh working conditions as part of the SIR duties. 2 staff members from the village office have been assigned to assist him. डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद सहित संविधान सभा के सभी महान सदस्यों को नमन। देशवासियों को इस दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र भारत का संविधान। देश भर में कार्यक्रम। हर देशवासी को समान अवसर, सम्मानपूर्ण जीवन, राष्ट्रीय कर्तव्य और अधिकार प्रदान कर मजबूत राष्ट्र निर्माण का मार्ग प्रशस्त करता है। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने संविधान दिवस की शुरुआत कर लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों के प्रति देशवासियों को अधिक सजग बनाने का कार्य किया है। आज संविधान दिवस पर बाबा साहेब डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर जी, डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद जी सहित संविधान सभा के सभी महान सदस्यों को नमन और देशवासियों को इस दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र भारत का संविधान। Here this यूरेशियन आर्थिक संघ से भारत की व्यापार वार्ता और अधिक अधिकार प्रदान। यूरेशियन आर्थिक संघ से भारत की व्यापार वार्ता। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने संविधान दिवस की शुरुआत कर लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों के प्रति देशवासियों को अधिक सजग बनाने का कार्य किया है। बोल्सोनारो को 27 साल की जेल ब्राजील से। आज संविधान दिवस पर बाबा साहब डॉक्टर भीमराव अम्बेडकर जी, डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद जी सहित संविधान सभा के सभी महान सदस्यों को नमन और देशवासियों को इस दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। Society must reclaim respectful open dialogue. The middle path of understanding over discord and reason over rage is necessary in today's turbulent world. Labor and honors. Smooth execution of the labor codes is linked to tripartite consultations, the amplitude of gubernatorial discretion. Bridging India's numeracy gap. Widely quoted WHO norm of 1 doctor per 1,000 people is not official. Bridging India's numeracy gap. SAESI सुविधा केंद्र पीएम हैदराबाद में करेंगे। सफरान एयरक्राफ्ट वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए करेंगे SAESI सुविधा केंद्र का उद्घाटन वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए और अधिकार प्रदान करेंगे। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने संविधान दिवस की शुरुआत कर लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों के प्रति देशवासियों को अधिक सजग बनाने का कार्य किया है। इस वर्ष का विषय हमारा संविधान। नई दिल्ली स्थित संविधान सदन के केंद्रीय कक्ष में होगा मुख्य कार्यक्रम। सशक्त और जीवंत लोकतंत्र का प्रतीक। राष्ट्रपति, उपराष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री समेत कई बड़े नेता होंगे शामिल। देश आज मना रहा है संविधान दिवस। 9 भाषाओं में जारी होगा संविधान का अनुवादित संस्करण। संविधान दिवस आज देश भर में होगा संविधान की प्रस्तावना का पाठ। विशेष स्मारक पुस्तक का भी होगा विमोचन। 2 साल 11 महीने और 17 दिन में तैयार हुआ था संविधान। इस वर्ष का विषय हमारा संविधान, हमारा स्वाभिमान। सशक्त और जीवंत लोकतंत्र का प्रतीक। देश आज मना रहा है संविधान दिवस। नई दिल्ली स्थित संविधान दिवस। राष्ट्रपति, उपराष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री समेत कई बड़े नेता होंगे शामिल। आज संविधान दिवस पर बाबा साहब जी और डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद जी सहित संविधान सभा के सभी महान सदस्यों को नमन और देशवासियों को इस दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। Bridging India's numerous gap. Strengthening middle grade support, introducing foundational literacy and numeracy skills and making math more connected to everyday life can transform India's early gains into lasting numeracy progress. लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों के प्रति देशवासियों को अधिक सजग बनाने का कार्य किया है। What does the Supreme Court's advisory opinion imply? What were the questions raised by the presidential reference as a result of a judgment delivered in April 2025? What were the key points delivered by the Supreme Court in its opinion? Should governors act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers? The story so far. The Supreme Court has provided its opinion on a presidential reference made under Article 143. In its opinion, it has largely negated negated the decision of a two-judge bench that was delivered in April 2025. What was the presidential reference? The current reference is the result of a two-judge bench judgment in state of Tamil Nadu versus Governor of Tamil Nadu in April 2025 that had specified a timeline of 3 months for governors and the president to act on bills passed by state legislature. The court held that decisions by governors and the president on such bills are subject to judicial review. It had exercised its extraordinary power under Article 142 and granted deemed assent to bills passed by Tamil Nadu Assembly that were not assembled to by the governor. The present reference had raised 14 questions, primarily surrounding the interpretation of Article 200 and 201 of the court's opinion. These questions deal with the authority of the courts to prescribe timelines when they are not specified in the Constitution. The government had questioned whether the actions of governors and the president can be made judiciable at a stage prior to the enactment of bill into a law. The reference also sought an opinion on the extent of powers that can be exercised by the Supreme Court under Article 142. What is the current opinion? A five-judge bench of the top court delivered its opinion on the questions raised. It stated that this reference was a functional reference that strikes at the root of day-to-day functioning of constitutional functionaries and the interplay between state legislature, governor, and the president. Key points of the opinion are summarized below. First, the governor has three constitutional options under Article 200 when a bill passed by state legislature is presented for his or her assent, namely to assent or reject the bill for consideration of the president or withhold assent and return the bill to legislature with comments. Second, the governor enjoys discretion in choosing from these three options and is not bound by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. Third, the discharge of functions by the governor under Article 200 is not justifiable, but in case of glaring circumstances of prolonged and unexplained inaction, the court can issue a limited mandamus for the governor to discharge his or her functions on bills presented. Fourth, in the absence of constitutionally prescribed time limits, the court cannot judicially prescribe timeline for action by the president or governor. Fifth, the decisions of the president and governor under Article 201 and 200 respectively are not justifiable before a bill is enacted into a law. Finally, the powers of the Supreme Court under Article 142 cannot substitute the powers vested on the president or governor under the Constitution. Hence, there is no allowance for the concept of deemed assent of bills. What are the issues? The Sarkaria Commission, the Sarkaria Commission 1987 had opined that it is only the reservation of bills for consideration of the president that too under rare cases of patent unconstitutionality that can be implied as a discretionary power of the governor. The Supreme Court in various cases, including in Shamsher Singh 1974 and Nabham Rabia 2016, had held that the governor should act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. However, in the present opinion, the court has interpreted these cases to conclude that action under Article 200 with respect to a bill presented for assent fall under the discretionary powers of the governor. This has the potential to derail the legislative intent of popularity elected state governments. With respect to time limits, The Panchi Commission 2010 had recommended that the governor should take a decision with respect to a bill presented for his or her assent within a period of 6 months. The court, in its own judgment in the KM Singh case 2020, had stipulated a time limits of 3 months for speakers to decide on disqualification petitions through a no time limit has been prescribed in the constitution. The verdict of the division bench in the state of Tamil Nadu case to provide time limits to governors and the president was a purposive and progressive interpretation of the constitution. The current opinion has negated this position. What can be the way forward? The underlying disease that has plagued our federal setup has been the publication of the gubernatorial post. The governor acts as an appointee of the Center for Maintaining Unity and Integrity of the Action Nation. However, federalism is also a basic feature of our constitution. This opinion should not become an alibi for the governor's office to thwart the policies of popularly elected houses in the state. The governor should display responsible urgency in providing assent to bills passed by state legislature. आज संविधान दिवस पर बाबा साहेब डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर जी, डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद जी सहित संविधान सभा के सभी महान सदस्यों को नमन और देशवासियों को इस दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। टीएमसी कार्यकर्ताओं को एन्यूमरेशन फॉर्म भरने में जनता की मदद करने को कहा। एसआईआर पर ममता बनर्जी का दोहरा रुख। एसआईआर पर ममता का बदला रुख, सियासी हलचल तेज। और अधिकार प्रदान कर मजबूत राष्ट्र निर्माण का मार्ग प्रशस्त करता है। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने संविधान दिवस की शुरुआत कर शुभेंदु अधिकारी चुनाव आयोग को पत्र लिख उच्च स्तरीय जांच की मांग। लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों के प्रति देशवासियों को दी जाएगी जानकारी। ममता बनर्जी टीएमसी कार्यालय में एनुमरेशन फॉर्म भरने में जनता की मदद करने का। देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कार्यक्रम। आज संविधान दिवस पर संसद भवन में भी आयोजित होगा कार्यक्रम। राष्ट्रपति, उपराष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री और लोकसभा अध्यक्ष होंगे शामिल। भारतीय नागरिक के पास वैध पासपोर्ट था, विदेश मंत्रालय का कहना। चीन की करतूत पर भारत सख्त। भारतीय नागरिक को रोका जाना पूरी तरह अस्वीकार्य। एमईए चीन का यह कदम अंतर्राष्ट्रीय एयर ट्रैवल से जुड़े कन्वेंशनों का उल्लंघन। प्रधानमंत्री आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए करेंगे उद्घाटन। भारतीय नागरिक को हवाई अड्डे पर रोका जाना। भारतीय नागरिक के पास वैध पासपोर्ट था, विदेश मंत्रालय का कहना। एसआईआर पर पश्चिम बंगाल में घमासान तेज। ममता बनर्जी ने केंद्र को दी खुली चुनौती। बीजेपी नेता शुभेंदु अधिकारी ने चुनाव आयोग को लिखी चिट्ठी। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में एसआईआर मामले की सुनवाई भी आज। रूस कर रहा है 5 सदस्यीय समूह में रूस, आर्मेनिया, बेलारूस, कजाकिस्तान, किर्गिस्तान है शामिल। भारत ईएईयू के साथ एफटीए पर 20 अगस्त को संदर्भ शर्तों पर लगी थी मोहर। भारत ने अपने व्यवसायों के लिए नए बाजारों की उपलब्धता पर दिया है ध्यान। संसद भवन में भी आयोजित होगा कार्यक्रम। भारत और ईएईयू के बीच एफटीए के लिए आज। विमानन क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता। हैदराबाद में सफरान एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन सर्विस इंडिया how are passengers able to access the internet on airplanes? In-flight internet has become a standard service on commercial flights, utilizing air-to-ground and satellite systems to meet growing passenger demand for connectivity while navigating technical and regulatory challenge. Passenger internet on aeroplanes used to be rare in the 2010s but has become almost commonplace today. On most flights, the basic idea is that the whole aeroplane is treated like a flying Wi-Fi router that connects to the rest of the internet through a long backhaul link. This means your phone or laptop never talks directly to the ground. Instead, it talks to a Wi-Fi access point inside the cabin, which then sends your data out of the aircraft via radio links. How is the backhaul set up? The backhaul link these days comes in two main forms, air to ground and via satellite in the ATC system. The aeroplane connects to special cellular like towers on the ground. These towers have antenna pointing up at the sky. The flange antenna, often mounted on the underside, maintains a radio link with whichever tower is currently in range. Radio link just means they send and receive electromagnetic signals in the radio frequency. As the plane flies, the ATG system hands off the connection from one tower to the next, similar to how your phone switches between cell towers if you are on a call in a moving vehicle. Obviously, this arrangement works well over land where there is dense coverage of towers but fails to over ocean, deserts and in polar areas, all places with fewer or no towers. This is where satellite help. Satellite systems are more flexible because they don't care whether an aeroplane is over land or water. In this system, the aeroplane uses a dish or phased array antenna, usually inside a bespoke hump-shaped structure on top of the fuselage that's pointed towards the sky. This antenna will transmit data to a satellite in orbit, which will relay the data to a ground station connected to the regular internet. Historically, these satellites have been in geostationary orbit, which is a circular orbit 35,786 km above sea level. This means even at the speed of light, there is a noticeable data latency. A signal round trip time of several hundred milliseconds is common. Newer systems use satellite constellations that are located in low Earth orbit, that is 120 to 2000 kilometer above sea level. Since these satellites are much closer to the ground stations, the latency is lower. Sometimes they also allow for higher bandwidth if the aeroplane antenna can track fast moving satellite and head off between them. दिन विमानन क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता की दिशा में बड़ा कदम। ब्राजील पुलिस स्टेशन में सजा काटेंगे पूर्व राष्ट्रपति बोल्सोनारो। हैदराबाद में तख्तापलट की साजिश में बोल्सोनारो को 27 साल और 3 महीनों का कारावास। भारत में विमान इंजन सर्विसिंग क्षमताओं को मिलेगी मजबूती। ब्राजील पुलिस स्टेशन में तख्तापलट की साजिश में बोल्सोनारो को 27 साल और 3 महीने का कारावास। ममता बनर्जी ने केंद्र को दी खुली चुनौती। बीजेपी नेता सुवेंद्र अधिकारी ने चुनाव आयोग। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में एसआईआर मामले की सुनवाई भी आज। 2026 T20 वर्ल्ड कप के ब्रांड एम्बेसडर होंगे रोहित शर्मा। कैशा आईसीसी अध्यक्ष। देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कई कार्यक्रम। टूर्नामेंट में खिताब भारत के साथ ग्रुप ए में पाकिस्तान, यूएसए, नामीबिया और नीदरलैंड से शामिल। पुरुष T20 विश्व कप 2026 7 फरवरी को अमेरिका के खिलाफ अपने अभियान शुरू करेगी भारतीय टीम। भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच 15 फरवरी को कोलंबो में होगा मुकाबला। 4 और 5 मार्च को सेमीफाइनल मुकाबले खेले जाएंगे। 8 मार्च को अहमदाबाद में होगा खिताबी मुकाबला। प्रधानमंत्री आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए करेंगे उद्घाटन। भारत में विमान इंजन सर्विस क्षमताओं को मिलेगी मजबूती। 7 फरवरी 2026 को खेला जाएगा प्रतियोगिता का पहला मुकाबला पुरुष T20 विश्व कप 2026। ममता बनर्जी ने केंद्र को दी खुली चुनौती। पुरुष T20 विश्व कप 2026 टूर्नामेंट में भारत के साथ ग्रुप में पाकिस्तान, यूएसए, नामीबिया और नीदरलैंड शामिल। 7 फरवरी को अमेरिका के खिलाफ अपने अभियान में शुरू करेंगे भारतीय टीम। भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच 15 फरवरी को कोलंबो में होगा मुकाबला। देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कई कार्यक्रम। पुरुष T20 विश्व कप 2026। राष्ट्रपति, उपराष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री और लोकसभा अध्यक्ष होंगे शामिल। विमानन क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता की दिशा में बड़ा कदम। हैदराबाद में सफरान एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन सर्विसेज इंडिया सुविधा। आईसीसी T20 वर्ल्ड कप 2026 शेड्यूल का ऐलान। टूर्नामेंट में भारत के साथ ग्रुप ए में पाकिस्तान, यूएसए, नामीबिया और नीदरलैंड शामिल। एसआईआर पर पश्चिम बंगाल में घमासान तेज। 7 फरवरी को अमेरिका के खिलाफ अपने अभियान शुरू। T20 विश्व कप आईसीसी T20 वर्ल्ड कप 2026 शेड्यूल का ऐलान। 8 मार्च को अहमदाबाद में यूरेशिया आर्थिक संघ में एफटीए पर आज से वार्ता। संविधान दिवस आज। देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कई कार्यक्रम। Don't signals interfere with operations where cabin crew ask you to switch your phone off for takeoff and landing and to use airplane mode the rest of the time. They are mainly trying to eliminate lots of uncontrolled radio transmitters inside the cabin. A phone whose mobile, that is cellular radio, is on does several things that are awkward for both aviation and telecom regulators. It periodically shouts loudly in radio terms, scans across multiple bands to find towers and maintain a connection in a cabin with a couple hundred phones that creates a massive blast of radio noise at unpredictable times and frequencies, much like a noisy playground in the worst case scenario. Some of that energy could be very close to the frequencies airplane radios, sensors and navigation beacons use, while contemporary airplanes are well shielded and the actual risk is very low. Regulators prefer to conservative approach that minimize unknown. Further, a plane full of phones talking directly to towers on the ground still moves quickly and is visible to many towers at once. These quacks can confuse handover algorithms and overuse capacity in the cellular network. This is why telecommunication rules in many places explicitly forbid phones from connecting to terrestrial mobile networks at crushing altitude, and airplane mode is a simple way to comply to its advantage. Passenger internet uses equipment that's part of the aircraft. Certified systems, the Wi-Fi access points inside the cabin, and the satellite or ATG radios that link the airplane to the outside world are all installed and tested together with the avionics. The engineers who design them also pick frequencies that are well separated from the bands that critical onboard systems use and design the antenna and cabling to minimize signal leaks. They are also expected to prove through testing that none of these systems can fall in a way that also destabilizes the aeroplanes. Taken together, the in-flight internet apparatus addresses the radio interference risk differently from how individual cell phones do, quelling regulators and anxieties while allowing you to stay online. जब देश पूछता है जवाब देना पड़ता है। प्रधानमंत्री आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए करेंगे उद्घाटन। भारत में विमान इंजन सर्विसेज क्षमताओं को मिलेगी मजबूती। सरहद से हुंकार, वीर ने देश को याद दिलाया। ऐसा पश्चिमी बंगाल में घमासान तेज। ममता बनर्जी ने केंद्र को दी खुली चुनौती। बीजेपी नेता शुभेंदु अधिकारी ने चुनाव आयोग को लिखी चिट्ठी। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में एसआईआर मामले की सुनवाई भी आज। यूरेशियन आर्थिक संघ से एफटीए पर आज से वार्ता। संविधान दिवस आज। पूरा सच प्रखर श्रेयास्त्र के साथ देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कई कार्यक्रम। संसद भवन में भी आयोजित होगा कार्यक्रम। उपराष्ट्रपति, राष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री और लोकसभा अध्यक्ष होंगे शामिल। विमानन क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता की दिशा में हैदराबाद में सफरान एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन सर्विसेज इंडिया सुविधा। भारत में विमान इंजन सर्विसिंग क्षमताओं को मिलेगी मजबूती। एसआईआर पर पश्चिमी बंगाल में घमासान तेज। ममता बनर्जी ने केंद्र को दी खुली चुनौती। बीजेपी नेता शुभेंदु अधिकारी ने चुनाव आयोग को लिखी चिट्ठी। Dashing every man with the heart of a poet, Dharmendra's rugged charm stood out from the tragic romantic heroes of the earlier decades and the brooding, angry young man who came after him. He believed that truth did not need a technique to convey itself, inspiring a generation of mass entertainers in Hindi and South Indian cinema. Despite being repeatedly overlooked by popular film awards, he was later honored with Padam Bhushan. Stardom didn't change him, says Sharmila Tagore. Dilip saw him as a brother, says Sarah Banu. Indian cinema will never be at the same, but it will stay strong as if to pay tribute to his life and journey. Here is to you, Ranjit. You were and always will be a class act. Anil Kapoor said. विमानन क्षेत्र में बड़ा कदम। प्रधानमंत्री आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए करेंगे उद्घाटन। भारत में विमान इंजन सर्विसेज क्षमताओं को मिलेगी मजबूती। भारत रूस की अगुवाई वाले यूरेशियन आर्थिक संघ के साथ व्यापार समझौते पर आज से औपचारिक वार्ता। 20 अगस्त को हुई थी शर्तों पर सहमति। ब्राजील में पूर्व राष्ट्रपति जेयर बोल्सोनारो को 27 साल की जेल, अपने देश में तख्ता पलट की साजिश के लिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने सुनाई सजा। यूरेशियन आर्थिक संघ से भारत की व्यापार वार्ता आदेश आज बना रहा है संविधान दिवस। देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कई कार्यक्रम। विदेश मंत्रालय ने ऐलान किया कि भारत और अफगानिस्तान अपनी व्यापार को बढ़ाने के लिए 2 नई कामों फ्लाइट की करेंगे शुरुआत। वित्तीय संपत्तियां वित्त वर्ष 25 में सालाना आधार पर 6% बढ़कर 9.9 लाख करोड़ रुपए हो गई। अर्ली मानसून हाई बेस पेमेंट को देखते हुए बिजली की मांग चालू वित्त वर्ष 15 से 2% बढ़ने का अनुमान। राष्ट्रपति प्रधानमंत्री समेत सदनों के सांसद में होंगे शामिल। आज कार्यक्रम संसद में। देश आज मना रहा है संविधान दिवस। Krishna's affirmation. Krishna's promise in the Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful reminder of the Lord's care for his devotees, said Swami Mitra Nandaji. The verse Anayas Chintaneto Mamye. The person who worship me and are devoted to me, to them I carry what they lack, and for them I preserve what they already have. Krishna highlights that those who are single pointedly devoted to him, putting consistent effort to reach him, will have their needs taken care of. Yoga and Shema. Shema Yoga and Shema refer to acquiring and preserving, respectively, the Lord promises to provide what is needed and protect what is already acquired. Reflecting on our lives, we see that anxiety and tension often revolve around acquiring what we lack and preserving what we have gained. This constant striving and grasping can distract us from focusing on the Lord. Krishna's message is clear: surrender these intense desires and He will take care of everything. A beautiful example is Swami Tapovan Maharaja's experience in the Himalayas. Stranded in a dilapidated village, he was visited by 3 highwaymen, finding only copy of the Bhagavad Gita and very simple clothes. They looked around once again, let things be, and then turned around and offered him some food that they had with them. Tapovan Maharaj realized that the Lord had come in the guise of the 3 men who had a living by 3 very merely to feed him. This is but one illustration of the promise by Lord Krishna to his devotee, no matter where they are or what they are going through. संविधान का गौरव बढ़ाते पीएम मोदी दिशा न्याय तक समग्र पहुंच, आसान, सुलभ, सस्ती जमीनी स्तर से डिजिटल कनेक्टिविटी, ग्राम पंचायतों, आकांक्षी जिलों, दूर दराज के समुदायों तक पहुंच। संविधान का गौरव बढ़ाते पीएम मोदी जमीनी स्तर से डिजिटल कनेक्टिविटी बाय जीओवी सॉफ्ट प्रश्नोत्तरी। संविधान का गौरव बढ़ाते पीएम मोदी जागरूकता से गौरव तक नागरिक नेतृत्व वाली पहलों को देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कई कार्यक्रम। संसद भवन में भी आयोजित होगा कार्यक्रम। संसद भवन में भी आयोजित होगा कार्यक्रम। राष्ट्रपति, उपराष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री समेत दोनों सदनों के सांसद होंगे शामिल। 11वां संविधान दिवस आज। देश आज मना रहा है संविधान दिवस। सभी के लिए न्याय सुनिश्चित करना नवीन विचारों के साथ एक नए भारत का संकल्प। राष्ट्रव्यापी अभियान, विधि जागृति अभियान, जमीनी स्तर की कानूनी साक्षरता और जागरूकता, विधान का गौरव और बढ़ाने को लेकर उठाए गए ऐतिहासिक कदम, संविधान की समझ और अधिकारों के बारे में जागरूकता अभियान। संसद भवन में आयोजित होंगे आज कार्यक्रम हमारा संविधान हमारा स्वाभिमान, हमारा संविधान हमारा सम्मान, आसान सुलभ सस्ती कानूनी सेवाएं मुहैया कराना उद्देश्य। देश आज मना रहा है संविधान दिवस। Constitution of India. India brushes for air travel disruption after volcanic eruption in Ethiopia. Press club concerned over ambiguity in clause of Data Act from New Delhi. Himachal government decides to reunite panchayats from Shimla. BEL Saffron join hands to build precision weapon in India. Editors Guild of India highlights office winners for 2025 to 26. Probe ordered after Afghan plane lands on wrong runway. Jubin death. Date extended for submitting probes report. देश भर में होगा संविधान की प्रस्तावना का पाठ। Navy gets silent hunter 80% home ground Mahi. Army Chief General Upendra Trivedi launches warship, says true strength of the armed forces lie in synergy. Adds that Army, Navy and Air Force form the trinity of India's strategic strength. Gavi UNICEF Inc. deal to provide easy access to malaria vaccine from New Delhi. Anti-pilot poaching plan in India's interest from New Delhi. Graha gets nod for nano satellite launch from Bengaluru. The launch will happen from Alcantara Space Center located in Brazil. Supreme Court to quash Sandy Sarah's fraud cases on payments of 5,100 crore rupees by December 17 from New Delhi. The Supreme Court directed quashing all criminal proceedings against the fugitive Sandesera brothers in the Sterling Biotech Bank fraud case. India, Canada are neutral, are natural allies, says Goyal. Up to her demand pickup points to a resilient growth outlook. SBI Venture plans 2,000 crore rupees climate first fund. Singapore firm Samcon set to plan IPO of Indian unit. Rupee gains 50 paise against US dollar as RBI steps in. Private sector reported 8% yo-yo sale growth in Q2. संविधान अंगीकरण का 76वां वर्ष। संविधान दिवस की विशेषता करीब 90 अनुच्छेद और 4 भागों, 4 अनुसूचियां यानी 9, 10, 11 और 12 को जोड़ा गया। संविधान की विशेषता दुनिया की सबसे बड़ा लिखित संविधान न तो लचीला है न कठोर, संघात्मक के साथ एकात्मक का स्वरूप भी। संघात्मक संविधान की सभी विशेषताएं आपातकाल के दौरान केंद्र को शक्तिशाली बनाने का भी प्रावधान। देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कार्यक्रम, केंद्र और राज्य दोनों। संसद भवन में भी आयोजित होगा कार्यक्रम। Next decade will be for sports in India, Bindra says. I think there is no doubt about it that the Olympic Games will come to India. I think it is only a matter of time. The Games will eventually come. Pedestrian India implodes as Johnson breathes fire. Today was one of those days when everything clicked, says Johnson. It was a good wicket. There were runs to be made, says Washington. आज संविधान दिवस देश आज मना रहा है संविधान दिवस संविधान देश भर में आज कई कार्यक्रम AIFF adopts constitution as per SC order. From Kolkata, Madrid escapes with a draw. AC Milan gets bragging rights over rival enter from Belgium. India and Argentina share honors in practice matches from Chennai. Mad Deva Bapna to team up for WT's India debut from Bengaluru. How shortstoppers Prince Deep and Vikramjit inspire each other. India's next generation hopes to shine at Shahid Modi Badminton from Lucknow. पीएम वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए हैदराबाद में करेंगे सुविधा केंद्र का उद्घाटन एस आई SI सुविधा केंद्र लगभग 1300 करोड़ रुपए के शुरुआती निवेश से विकसित देश आज मना रहा है संविधान दिवस सालाना 300 लीप इंजनों की सर्विसिंग के लिए डिजाइन पीएम वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए हैदराबाद में करेंगे सुविधा केंद्र का उद्घाटन विश्व स्तरीय इंजन रखरखाव मरम्मत सेवाएं पीएम हैदराबाद में करेंगे सफरान एयरक्राफ्ट इंजन सर्विसेज इंडिया सुविधा केंद्र का उद्घाटन राष्ट्रपति महोदय होंगे शामिल संसद में देश आज मना रहा है संविधान दिवस धर्म त्याग और साहस का प्रतीक ध्वज पर ओम सूर्य और कविदार वृक्ष अंकित ध्वज में अंकित है ओम सूर्य और कविदार वृक्ष विवाह पंचमी के मुहूर्त में संपन्न हुआ ध्वजारोहण कार्यक्रम संकल्प सफलता सर्जन की गाथा है धर्म ध्वज राम यानी जनता के सुख को सर्वोपरि रखना केसरिया ध्वज भारतीय सभ्यता के पुनर्जागरण का प्रतीक श्री राम मंदिर के शिखर पर धर्म ध्वज देश भर में आयोजित होंगे कई कार्यक्रम धर्म त्याग और साहस का प्रतीक सब मंदिर साझा मूल्य है There is no such thing as a physical criminal type. Let us comment critically, also discuss briefly various typological classification of criminology who is criminal. The more prevalent the word criminal, the more difficult is it is to define it. It has two types of definitions according to the criminological definition, such as such a person who commits a crime is called a criminal. In other words, it can be said that a person who contravenes any criminal law applicable to the state is an offender. According to some criminologists, a criminal is a person who has the ability to act against the law, whereas according to the legal definition, offender means a person who is accused of having committed an offense and is declared guilty by the court following a prescribed procedure and finding such person guilty of the charge. According to the legal definition, the following things are necessary for the offender. One is to be accused of having committed an offense. Two is court to try such charge. Three is conviction of such person by the court as far as the adoption of the definition of criminal in relation to criminology is concerned. Only the criminological definition of the offender is acceptable. Classification of criminals. The general belief is that the criminal person is different from a normal person and its symptoms are also somewhat different. They also classify criminals into different categories. Lombroso has given four classes of criminals: born criminals, insane criminals, lustful criminals, incidental criminals. According to Garofalo, criminals are of the following types: typical criminals, violent criminals, criminal deficient in probity, lustful criminals. According to Enric Ferry, there are five categories of criminals: born criminals, habitual criminals, insane or epileptic criminals, occasional or incidental criminals, passionate criminals. W.A. Bonger has classified criminals into four classes, namely economic criminals, sexual criminals, political criminals, miscellaneous criminals. Sutherland had given only two categories of criminals: simple criminals, white collar criminals. According to Tarde, there are only two types of criminals: urban criminals, rural criminals. The criminal can be classified according to age, sex, and tendency as follows: male criminals according to sex, female criminals, mature criminals according to sex, juvenile delinquent according to sex, accidental offender according to nature, opportunistic criminal, habitual offender. One is born criminal. Born criminals are those criminals who are born with certain physical characteristics. Such criminals can be reformed only by harsh punishment, otherwise not. Lombroso, Enric Ferry, etc. are its supporters. Insane criminal. Number two is insane criminals. Neurotic criminals are those who are mentally abnormal and suffer from mental disease like epilepsy, hysteria, and paralysis. Such criminals do not have the ability to understand the nature of the act and its consequences. Three, sexual criminals. Such persons who commit sexual offenses are called sex offenders. There is more sex in them. Such crimes are usually committed by adults and old people more. Deranged criminals generally do not commit such crimes because they have no interest in sex. First offender. First offenders are those criminals who commit the crime for the first time. Accidental offender. Casual offender means such criminals who are not habitual or professional criminals but are influenced by specific circumstances and commit crimes. They cannot save themselves from such situation. Habitual offender. Such criminals who become habitual of committing crimes and repeat crimes again and again are called habitual offenders. Professional criminal, persons who make crime their profession and their livelihood depends on crimes. They are called professional criminals. Criminal, common criminal. Common criminals are such criminals who are found guilty of conduct prohibited by criminal law. Such criminals are generally lower and middle class people. White collar criminals, those who commit crimes with the aim of earning more and more money, are called white collar criminals. Such crimes are generally committed by high class, eminent, educated, and well to do person. Adulteration, smuggling, black marketing, bribery, sex, evasion, etc. are such crimes. Juvenile offender. When crimes are committed by juveniles and children, then such juveniles and children are called juvenile offenders. In law, such criminals have been termed as delinquent juvenile or law disputed juvenile. Female criminal. When a crime is committed by women, it is called a woman offender. The number of female criminals in India is negligible as compared to male criminals. Women commit crimes like prostitution, adultery, theft. Many times, the help of women is taken by men in committing crimes. Cyber criminals. Cybercrime is a product of the later half of the 20th century and the first half of the 21st century. Cybercrimes are committed through computers, internet, and other electronic means. The criminals who commit such crimes are called cyber criminals. The Information Technology Act 2000 has been passed to prevent such offenses. Thinkers like Lombroso, Enric Ferry, Sutherland, Girofalo, Donald Taft, Gabbard, Freud, etc. have been supporters of this classification of criminals. Corporal criminal format caste. The physical criminal model race or ideology is an important ideology of criminology. Thinkers like Lombroso, Gobard, Trad, etc. are considered to be supporters of this ideology. Proponents of this ideology believe that the physical appearance of criminal persons is different from that of normal persons. These physical characteristics are hereditary. Lombroso, who was a doctor and professor of medicine, after studying the criminals in depth, has concluded that in terms of physical appearance, the level of such person is of low order and they have relatively high capacity to bear torture. Indecent, frightening, and crude tattoo marks are found on the body of such person as compared to normal persons. Their skull is round like a dome. The jaw is elongated at the bottom or pressed inwards. The nose is flat and broad. The ears are long and thick. The brain is triangular in shape. The teeth are underdeveloped. The hair is black and thick. The lips are cleft or body is hairless or excessively hairy. Lombroso was of the opinion that this physical appearance of the criminal person is similar to that of the primitive man, and that is the reason why he named it atavist. Lombroso's disciple Garofalo took this ideology forward, and in the first half of the 20th century, it was retrieved by thinkers like Hagton, Shelton, Glueck, etc. He has prescribed the types of offences on the basis of normal physical constitution. Thus, the proponents of the physical modelist ideology believed that the physical appearance of the criminal person is different from the physical appearance of other normal person, and such criminals are born. The physical characteristics of such criminals are hereditary. criticism. But while criticizing this ideology of Lombroso, it has been said that there is no such thing as a physical criminal type. Later on, Lombroso himself changed his about theory and accepted the importance of environment and circumstances in relation to crimes. Critics say that the criminal is neither born nor does the criminal have any special physical characteristics. These symptoms are not hereditary either. Criminologist Goddard says that the cause of crimes is not the physical appearance of the criminal, but his mental weaknesses. A mentally weak person does not have the ability to understand the nature and consequences of the work, so he commits the crime. Freud considered sex to be the root cause of crime. For the gratification of lust, a person commits a crime. When he does not get success, he even commits suicide. The thinkers like Quetelet, Curie, Lackerson, Montesquieu, Adolf, etc., consider the geographical and circumstantial environment to be the cause of crimes. He says that the root cause of crimes is the geographical environment and subsequent circumstances. Sutherland says that crimes are not invented. Crimes are not invented, but crimes are learned. The way the person lives in company, so does his behavior. By staying in the company of a criminal person, an ordinary person also becomes a criminal. According to Reckless, the cause of crimes is the weakness of the personality. A person with a weak personality is not able to establish harmony in the society. As a result, he becomes oriented towards crimes. Supporters of social ideologies say that the root cause of crimes is poverty, unemployment and economic inequality, etc. Class struggle is born out of economic inequality, and this class struggle becomes the cause of crimes. Marx, Eagles, Bonger, etc. are its supporters. Criminologists with sociological ideology consider the cause of crime to be family disintegration, social circumstances, etc. Taft, Reckless, Hagban, Sutherland, etc. are supporters of this ideology. In the opinion of the author of this work, one of the reasons for the crimes is also the moral and character degradation of the person. Lust, anger, attachment, hatred, selfishness, temptation, etc. Tendencies make a person a criminal. It is clear from the above discussions that the cause of crimes is not only physical appearance but also family, social, economic, mental, political, and subsequent circumstances. Let's discuss the protection provided under the Constitution and the criminal law in India to the arrested person. What are the constitutional protection available to the arrested person under Article 21 of the Constitution? A person has been conferred upon the right to life. The meaning of right to life is not to live like an animal, but to live with dignity and honor. Khadag Singh versus State of Uttar Pradesh, year 1963, SC 1295. This right is also conferred upon those persons who are arrested on account of any crime. The Justice Krishna Iyer has to say that the persons arrested are also parts of society. They cannot be separated from society. They are also right to live with honor and dignity. Then the principle of law is that until the charge against the convict is not proved, he should be treated as innocent. Keeping all these things into account, many facilities have been provided to such person under the Constitution and other laws. Constitutional protection under Article 22 of the Constitution, it has been provided that any person who has been arrested will not be kept in custody unless he has been told the cause of his arrest and will not be deprived his right to define himself by himself or by engaging the lawyer on his behalf. Any person who has been arrested will be produced before the nearest magistrate within 24 hours from the time of such arrest, excluding time of travel from the place of arrest to the court of magistrate, and no person will be kept in custody more than this period unless permission has been obtained from the magistrate. Thus, a person arrested has the following rights under Article 22 of the Constitution. One is to know the cause of arrest. The first right of arrested person is to know the cause of arrest. Without explaining the cause of arrest, nobody can be detained. In Tarachand versus State of West Bengal, AIR 1951, as in 174, the Supreme Court has decided that if there is delay in explaining the reasons of arrest to the arrested person, then it will be obligatory to explain the reason of such delay. In state of Madhya Pradesh versus Shobharam AR 1966, SC 1910, it has been said by the Supreme Court that the right to know the cause of arrest still persists even after the release of the arrested person on bail. It means that no person can be arrested without explaining to him the cause of his arrest. Two is the right to consult the legal professional and to defend. The other constitutional right of the arrested person is to consult with legal professional and to defend. The arrested person cannot be prosecuted and penalized without giving him the right to consult the lawyer and to get himself defended through him. Even he can consult the lawyer of his own choice. Production before the magistrate within 24 hours. It is obligatory on the part of the police to produce the arrested person before the nearest magistrate within 24 hours. Such arrested person cannot be kept more than 24 hours in the police custody without permission of the magistrate. The time extended in travel from the place of arrest to the court of magistrate will not be included in his period. Section 57 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 provides for the same in Ganpati Keshwarao versus Nafisul Hussain AIR 1954 SC 636. The Supreme Court has said that if the arrested person is not produced before the magistrate within 24 hours, then he becomes entitled to be released on bail or otherwise. Similarly, a person arrested under the Constitution has been conferred upon these rights. Protection under the other laws. In addition to the Constitution, the person arrested under the other laws have been provided some protection with. One, right to get medically examined under Section 54 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. The arrested person has right to get himself medically examined. According to this, such person can request to get himself medically examined during the period of definition detention to prove that some other person has committed crime against his body, or by this it will be proved that he has not committed any crime. In Sheila Varse versus State of Maharashtra AIR 1983 SC 378, the Supreme Court has decided that when the arrested person lodges confinement before magistrate against police that police has misbehaved and tortured him during the period of detention, the magistrate can pass order indicating to the arrested person that he can get himself medically examined if he wishes. Right to get released on bail. The arrested person has right to get released on bail. If the arrested person has been imposed upon a charge of bailable offence, then he has right to get released on bail under Section 436 of Criminal Procedure Code 1973, and if the offence is non-bailable, then he can pray for bail under Section 437 of the Criminal Procedure Code 1973. Not only this person, such person who has not been arrested as yet, but who is under apprehension of arrest may also pray to the magistrate for anticipatory bail under Section 438. In addition to this, the arrested person is entitled to be released under Section 167 under the following circumstances. If the crime is punishable with death penalty, life imprisonment, or imprisonment of not less than 10 years, and the investigation has not been completed within 90 days, and if the crime is different from the above, and the investigation has not been completed within 60 days. In Ram Govind Upadhyay versus Sudarshan Singh Yaya 2SC 1975, the Supreme Court has decided that while considering the application for bail, the court must take into account the following things. One is the severity of crime, two is the quantum of punishment, three is apprehension of separating witnesses, four is prima facie case versus to accept or not accept the bail depend upon two things, liberty of individual and interest of society will while keeping balance. Between these two, it is desired to pass order for that. Mansabal versus Irasan Ayat 2003 SC 707 in Sanjay Chandra versus CBI AIR 12 2012 SC 830. The Supreme Court has decided that bail is a rule and refusing to grant bail is an exception. The main purpose of bail is to ensure the presence of the accused during the trial. Its purpose is to neither punitive or nor preventive, right to get free legal aid. As we have seen above, any person who has been arrested has right to consult the law and get himself defended under Article 21 1 of the Constitution, 22 1 of the Constitution. But this provision is relevant only when the arrested person has sufficient means to engage the lawyer. It is not possible for a poor person. This is the reason that for poor person provision has been made under Constitution and other laws for free legal aid. Article 39A of the Constitution. It has been provided that any person will not be deprived of justice due to lack of money or any other disability. The same is the provision which has been made under Section 304 of the Criminal Procedure Code 1973. The poor person may apply for free legal aid under Legal Service Authority Act 1987. In MH Hoskat versus State of Maharashtra AIR 1978 SC 1548. The Supreme Court has decided that providing free legal assistance to the poor person is the duty of the state and not a compassionate. In Hushanara Khatun versus State of Bihar, year 1979, SC 1360, and Sukhdas versus Union Territory of Andhra Pradesh, 1986 to CC 401. This right has been ratified. Pavel versus Alabama 287, US 45. It has been said in an American case that if any person is unable to appoint a lawyer due to his poverty, then it is the duty of the court to arrange a lawyer for him. Thus, the arrested persons who are poor have been given an important protection against inhuman behavior. Under Article 21 of the Constitution, the right to life and physical liberty has been conferred upon an individual. Right to life and physical liberty means right to live a dignified life. Kharak Singh versus State of Uttar Pradesh, year 1963, SC 1295. This right is also available to the arrested person because, in the words of the Justice Krishna Iyer, even the arrested person is also part of society. Therefore, the arrested person has been given the following rights. He should not be behaved inhumanly and he should not be tortured. He should not be put under unnecessary handcuffs and fetters. Sunil Batra versus Delhi Administration, year 1978, SC 1625. He should not be put alone unnecessarily and he should not be denied to meet the relatives He should not be detained in remote prisons or station. If a person is detained under preventive detention, then he must be given a copy of the order to so that he can defend himself. The detention without the copy of the order is considerable illegal. Hayran Harris versus Government of Karnataka, year 2009, SC 2184. Right to private defense. The accused has been given the right to personal defense in section 96 to 106 of the Indian Penal Code 1860. It is prescribed under section 96 that there is no point in crime. It is used in the use of private defense in Arjun versus State of Maharashtra, AR 2012 SC 2181. The Supreme Court decided that due to serious apprehension of death, there is no death crime in their private defense. In this way, the above important protection has been provided for persons arrested under the Constitution and other methods. What are the constitutional safeguards available to the offenders? Let's discuss the protections provided under the Constitution of India and under the criminal law to the under trials. It is universal rule of law that unless any change is proved against any person, he should be treated as innocent. In Prabhu versus Emperor A 1941, Allahabad 402, it has been decided by the Allahabad High Court that the criminality of the person who is under trial should not be assumed. He should not be treated as criminal unless the charges imposed against him are proved. It means that a person should not be treated as convict as soon as a charge is imposed against him. From this, it also becomes clear that the law provides full protection to the under trial persons. The following protections have been provided to the under trial persons under Constitution and other law. One is right of speedy trials. It is principle of natural justice that any person upon whom charge has been imposed should be given an opportunity of hearing. Nobody can be punished without giving any opportunity of hearing. The trial should be conducted in the open court in the presence of the person charged. Not only this, the trial should be speedy. It should not happen that the trial may continue for years. In Jasbin, Hari Bhai Patel versus Narayan Bhai Tika Bhai, AIR 2005, NOC 75, Gujarat, it has been decided that the speedy trial is the right of the person charged. To make unnecessary delay in trial is not justified. Under Article 21, the speedy trial has been considered as the fundamental rights of the person charged in the Police Commissioner Delhi versus Registrar Delhi High Court, AIR 1997 SC 95. The Supreme Court had decided that the fair and speedy trial is an important requirement of judicial administration in Santosh D versus Archana Guha, AIR 1994, SC 1229. The time of 14 years taken in trial is considered excessive and unnecessary and as violative of Article 21 of the Constitution. Not only that, the accused also has the right to fair trial. In matter of Ratiram versus State of Madhya Pradesh, AIR 2012, SC 1455, the Supreme Court said that fair trial is the heart of the criminal jurisprudence. It is the duty of the court to see that anyone do not get injustice from procedural safeguards. Thus, the person charged has right to have speedy trial of the under Article 21 of the Constitution. The right to get free legal aid. As you seen above, every person should be given a proper opportunity of hearing. Without giving him an opportunity of hearing, he cannot be punished. That is, punishing him is not justified, but it is possible only when the person charged has sufficient resources. For poor person, it is not possible for such person provision has been made for free legal aid under Article 39A of the Constitution. Provision has been made. The state will ensure that the legal system should function in such a way that every citizen may get justice on the basis of equal opportunity, and specifically it should ensure that no citizen of the state should be deprived of justice on account of lack of economic resources or any disability. The state will make proper arrangement for this by any provision in the law or by any scheme and provide free legal aid by the other method. Similar provision had been made under Section 304 of the Criminal Procedure Code 1973. According to this, where the case of a person charged before the Court of Session is not pleaded by any pleader, and when it appears to the Court of Session that the said person does not have sufficient economic resources to engage a lawyer, then the court will make available any lawyer at government's cost to defend his case. For this, comprehensive provisions have been made under the Legal Service Authority Act 1987 in MS Hoskar versus State of Maharashtra AIR 1978 SC 1548. The Supreme Court has said that to provide free legal aid to the poor person is the duty of the state, it is not mercy. In Hussainara Khatun versus State of Bihar AIR 1979 SC 1380, the Supreme Court has accepted that free legal aid to the poor person is his fundamental right. In the matter of Muhammad Hussain Zulfikar versus AIR 2012 SC 750 implied that in the serious charge without providing the services of the lawyer to the accused, he is punished with death penalty in the violation of the conceptual of due procedure of law in this type of matter. It is expected to provide free legal services to accused. In this regard, now, no poor person under charge can be deprived of justice because of lack of money or economic resources. Protection against inhuman behavior under Article 21 of the Constitution, protection has been provided to the person charged against inhuman behavior in Kharal Singh versus State of Uttar Pradesh in 1963. SC 1295, the Supreme Court has decided the person charged has also right to live with dignity under Article 21 of the Constitution. The right to life and liberty does not mean living like an animal. It means living with human dignity and honor. This has been ratified in Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, EIR 1978, SC 597. Under trial, person should be treated humanly. For example, no violence or force should be used against him. No shackles should be used in his feet and hands unnecessarily. Sunil Batra versus Delhi Administration, AR 1978 SC 1675 should not be kept alone without any reason. Charles Shobraj versus Delhi Administration, AR 1978 SC 1414. Opportunity should be given to meet his relatives. Should not be kept in far off prisons. Should not be deprived of basic facilities, etc. Protection against dowel jeopardy. This is the important protection given to the person under charge. No person can be punished for the same crime more than once. This is known as doctrine of double jeopardy. This principle is based on the maxim nemo debet prodem cause this vexer, which means no person should be punished against for the same offense. The principle has also laid down under Article 23 of the Indian Constitution. According to this, no person can be charged and punished more than once for the same offense. The same provision has been made under the American Constitution. It has been said in the Constitution that no person shall be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of limb under Section 300 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, the provision has been made that when the trial has been made by the any court of competent jurisdiction against any person for any offence, and he has been acquitted or convicted for the same charge, and till such acquittal or conviction persists, he shall not be subject to the same charge again, and even he will not charged upon in the third case on the facts already decided, for which separate charges could have been imposed against him under subsection 1 of the 2021, or his guilt could have been proved under subsection 2. Thus, the person under charge has got an important protection that he cannot be prosecuted and punished for the same charge more than twice. In Makbul Hassan versus State of Bombay, year 1953, SC 325, and Kevalapati versus State of Himachal Pradesh, year 1953, SC 131, the Supreme Court has ratified this principle. Protection against post-dated laws. This is also an important right and protection under Article 21 of the Constitution. It has been said that no person shall be convicted of any offence except for violation of the law enforced at the time of the commission of the act charged as an offence, nor be subjected to a penalty greater than that which might have been inflicted under the law enforced at the time of the commission of the offence. It means any person can be punished only for such work which is punishable offence under any law applicable at the time of its execution, if there is no criminal offence under law. Any time at the time of doing any act that no law can be made for punishing that act afterwards. Its direct meaning is that no criminal law can be applied without with retrospective effect. In this regard, Parid and Nilambaram, year 1967, Kerala 155, a portable case in this non-payment of Panchayat tax was not crime at that time. Later on, it was declared crime under the law enacted afterwards, and it was made effective with its effective effect. The Kerala High Court declared it unconstitutional and said no law can be made applicable with retrospective effect, and any act which was previously done cannot be declared a criminal offence by making any law. Chief Inspector of Mines and V. K.C. Thapar, AIR, 1961 Supreme Court, 838. The Supreme Court has said that any act which mean committed was not crime, then it cannot be declared crime afterwards. This protection is based upon nullum crime sine lege. It means that the conduct of any person cannot be included under crime unless it has been made a punishable offense under some penal law. Protection against self-incrimination. This is also an important protection available to the person charged. It has been said under Article 23 of the Constitution, person can be compelled to become witness against himself in any case. This is an important protection which proves that the burden of proof lies upon the party. The party imposing charge has to prove the charges beyond doubt. For burdening of these charges, the person charged cannot be compelled to give evidence to prove the charges. In Nandini, Satpathy versus B.L. Dhani, year 1978, SC 1025, the Delhi High Court had said that if the questions asked are covered under the circumstances of self-incrimination, the person charged is not bound to reply them. In Mr. X versus Mrs. Z, AIR 2002, Delhi 217, the Delhi High Court decided that it is true that protection has been provided for self-incrimination under Article 23 of the Constitution, but it is not applicable in case of dissolution of marriage when the husband and wife impose charge of immorality upon each other, particularly on DNA test, because neither is to be a test of any part of the wife, nor is wife to be present somewhere for testing. Right to quick justice. In the last, the person charged has an important right to get quick justice. It is true that delay defeats the justice. Therefore, it is desired that there should be quick examination of charges and disposal of the case. It can also be said here that it is not justified to hang the sword of prosecution on the accused throat for a long time. In Shri Nivas Gopalan versus Arunachal Pradesh 1988 SSC, SCC 36, the Supreme Court has accepted the principle of quick justice is a part of Article 21 of the Constitution. Thus, the persons under trial have been given many protections under the Constitution and other laws. What do you understand by prison system? What are the project of prison system? What is open prison? The prison occupies an important place in criminal administration. It is the prison by which the penal order is implemented. In English, prison is also called jail, which is the most popular word among the masses. What is prison? It is called the jail. Different jurists and judges have been given different definition according to M.S. Sesna. The meaning of prison is case in which the criminal are put. This is known as prison or jail. MS Sena Society and Criminals says in the words of Dr. P. Sharma, prison means such people, such place where the convicts and persons under under trials are kept. Dr. P.D. Sharma was said. Dr. P.D. Sharma, Police and Criminal Justice Administration in India, according to Fairchild, the prison system means a penal institution operated either by the state or the federal government and used for adult offenders whose sentence exceeds 1 year. Fairchild Dictionary of Sociology. The prison has also been defined under the Prison Act 1994. The prison or jail is a place determined by administration where persons under trial or convicts are kept on temporary or permanent basis. From the above analysis, it becomes clear that prison means such places where the convicts or persons who are under trial are kept till their guilt is proved. Objects of prison in the past. The main objective of prisons were to keep the prisoners within the four walls of prison, but according to country, time, and social circumstances, there has been a change in the objective of criminals. The objectives of prison have been reflecting the reaction of society toward crime. The objectives from the past to present may be put under the following heads. Revengeful objects. The revengeful objects of prison are in same way as it is in case of crime. It is well known that the criminals spread chaos and create insecurity in the society. They are painful and thorn for the society. Therefore, to keep them under pain and trouble is the objective of prison. Under this, the criminals are put under torture. The courts have diverted their views from this, but still the object of revenge still persists. Inhibitory objects. Normally, every society wants to get freed from crimes and criminals. The crimes should not be repeated is also the spirit of society. For this, the society wants that the criminals should be made unable and incompetent to commit such crimes. The prison fulfills this objective of society. Here, the criminals are kept under strong discipline and control, and hard labor is taken from them so that they may become incompetent to commit crime. Preventing objects. This is one of the objects of prison that the rate of crime should be reduced and there should be a spirit of not to commit crime. They should remain separate from crimes and should think that to commit crime is not worthwhile. This is the preventing object of prison. Reformatory objects. The last object of prison is to create a spirit of reform among the prisoners. In prison, the prisoners are behaved in such a way so that they may improve their conduct. The efforts are made to trace the causes of crime and to remedy them. Proper arrangements are made for the education, health, and their rehabilitation. This is the spirit of the authority that the criminals should give up the habit of crime and become good citizens. The Justice Krishna here has to say that kindness complies. Kindness occupies an important place in administration. In prison, This is the spirit of the authorities that the criminals should give up their feet of crime and become good citizens. The Justice Krishna Iyer has to say that kindness occupies an important place in administration. In prison, the authorities should have a sense of kindness towards the prisoners. There should be human treatment with criminals. The concept hate crime not criminals should be kept in mind. They have also right to life and liberty under Article 21 of the Constitution. For example, they have been right to live with dignity and honor. These fundamental and human rights cannot be taken away due to the walls of stone of prison. From the above analysis, the following objects of prison system become clear. One is to give the opportunity to the criminals to repent on their act, to create a terror in themselves so that they may not repeat such crimes, to give such agony and torture to the criminals so that they may not dare to commit such crimes in future, to keep the criminal far off from the society, to keep silent the violent attitude of society towards criminals, to safeguard criminals, to provide food, residence, and medical facilities for them, to safeguard society, to give the opportunity to the criminals to reform themselves and to complement penal or state orders. Open prisons. The concept of open prison is the contribution of the later part of the 20th century. It is known as jail without walls or Sampurnanand camp for disposal of crime. This is the new correctional method. The credit for start of open jail system does goes to Dr. Sampurnanandan, the then Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, and that is why it is known as Sampurnanand Camp. It was commenced for the first time in 1952 in Chakia, Tehsil of Banaras district. The meaning of open jail is jail without walls. Under this system, the prisoners are not kept under jails but kept in open and free atmosphere. The main features of this system are to give the opportunity to the criminals to take breathe in free air by not keeping them close to the four walls of prison, to provide food, shelter, education, and medical and recreation facilities for them, to take hard labor from criminals and to pay remuneration for it, to remit such remuneration to their members of family, to give the opportunity to the criminals to meet their relatives, to inculcate in them the spirit of reform. 1955, many such campuses were organized in Banaras, Logar, Shahabad, Pilibhit, Nanak Sagar, Nainital in Uttar Pradesh, which have been highly appreciated in UN Congress on the Prevention of Crime and Treatment of Offenders in Ramurthy versus State of Karnataka, AIR 1997 SC 1739. The Supreme Court has rightly appreciated the open jail system. Let's discuss the factors responsible for the overcrowding of prisons in India. Let's give suggestions how the situation be avoided. In Ramurthy versus the State of Karnataka, year 1997 SC 1739, the Supreme Court judges Kuldeep Singh, BL Ansaria, and SB Majumdar bench have rightly said Indian jails are overcrowded, the prisoners are kept beyond the capacity of jail, they are not getting proper facilities, the prisoners are tortured, they are not given the opportunity to meet their relatives, their health is not taken care of, child and young criminals are kept with defamed criminals. This condition is miserable and worthy of consideration. The following things become clear from the above analysis. Indian jails are overcrowded, no proper facilities are available to the criminals. Juvenile delinquents are kept with the serious offender. The question is that what are the reasons for overcrowding in Indian jail? Studies and analytical illusions the following reasons for the crowd in Indian prisons. Increase in crimes. The main cause of overcrowding is the increase in number of crimes. It is known that along with the creation, the rise of crime has happened, but it is also true that crimes increase with the passage of time. Due to increase in crimes, the increase in number of criminals is natural. If the crimes are less, criminals going to the prisons will be less and vice versa. Unemployment, the other reason of increase. in number of criminals is the increasing unemployment. When the man is idle and unemployed and does not have any means of living, then he thinks of committing a crime so that at least he may get food in prison. In Shripati Maruti Abel versus State of Maharashtra 1987 Criminal Law Journal 743 is a good case when the municipal corporation did not make available any place to Maruti able to carry on his livelihood. Then he attempted to commit suicide. Low number of crimes. The number of prisons is very low as compared to the increasing number of criminals in India. Jails exist in district headquarters where criminals of district are kept. Then there are no separate jails for women and young delinquents. Under such situation, the existence of excessive crowd in jails is natural. In Ramurthy AIR 1997, SC 1739, it becomes clear that in Indian jails, the number of criminals is kept beyond the capacity of jails. Delay in trials. The fourth reason of excessive crowd in prison is the delay in trials of the cases. Our judicial system is complicated, expensive, and time consuming. The cases remain pending for years so that the prisoners remain imprisoned for years. New prisoners enter the jails, but old prisoners remain there, so the crowd increases day by day. This is the reason that in Commissioner of Police versus Registrar, Delhi High Court, AIR 1997 SC 95, the Supreme Court said that speedy and fair trial is an urgent need of judicial administration. Similarly, in RD Upadhyay versus State of Andhra Pradesh, AIR 2002 SC 1756, the Supreme Court has said that such prisoners and captives should be listed above who are in prison for a very long time and trials have been going on. Increased facilities with the origin of reformatory system of punishment, the facilities provided to the prisoners have been increasing. Proper care is being taken towards education, medical facilities, rehabilitation, food, shelter, etc. Even the facilities of TV, newspaper, and remuneration for their work is also available. Under such situation, the detained and prisoners do not want to leave prisons because they have become rest houses for them. Rigid provision for bail. One of the reasons of increasing crowd in the prisons is the rigid provisions of bail. In majority of cases, the application for bail is not accepted and therefore they remain in prison during the trial period. With the result, the number of prisoners increases in the prisons. To accept or not to accept bail in cases of non-bailable matters and habitual offender depend upon the discretion of the court, and the court generally rejects the application in such cases. These rigid provisions of bail are also the causes of overcrowding in prisons. Social negligence, the social negligence and apathy towards criminal are also the cause of increasing crowd. Today, the society looks toward the criminal with eyes of negligence, apathy, meaningless, etc. There is no place for them in the society. The society does not accept them with the result the criminal does not want to come to society after being released from the jail. He is under fear that the society will call him a captive or prisoner and see him an eye of negligence. With no rehabilitation arrangements for the accused person, the mob has got encouragement in the jail. Prisoners become resistant residents for them. Similarly, there are other reasons why continuous rush of prisons is being increasing. Let's give some suggestions. The following may be the suggestions for reducing crowd in the prisons. The efforts should be made to reduce the number of crimes. When the number of crimes is less, the number of criminals will also be reduced automatically. The number of prisons should be increased. The capacity of each prison should be determined. Generally, there should be one prison at every court or district headquarters. The government should try to reduce unemployment. When there is no idleness and unemployment, the number of crimes will be less. With the reduced number of crimes, the prisoners will also be reduced. There should be speedy and quick trial of the cases. When the cases are disposed of quickly, the number of criminals will be reduced. The provisions of bail should be liberal. Courts should also show generosity in accepting bail application. It is not advisable to provide unnecessary facilities to the criminals in prisons as the prison has become a comfort room with unnecessary facilities. Hard work should be taken from the criminals. They should be kept under discipline. Then, when they are kept under strong discipline, hard labor can be done by them. In such cases, they will try to avoid prisons. There should be change in the attitude of the society for reducing crowd in the prison. The society should accept the criminal. They should be given proper place. The negligence towards them should be reduced. The ideas of Justice Krishna Iyer should be followed that the criminal are part of society. When they are adjusted, they will come out of prison. Thus, from the above methods, the crowd can be reduced. What do you mean by prison reforms? Let's write note on it. Rather different measures of prison reforms. The prisons have important role to play in disposal and reduction of number of crimes. It is the prison system which implements the penal orders of court or government and create a fearless atmosphere for society by keeping the criminals separate from the society. The criminals are behaved with the concept of revenge, retention, prevention, and reformation, so that by hook or crook the number of crimes in the society can be reduced. The present condition of prisons in India. This is an important question whether the present number of persons is in accordance with their objective. The answer is in the negative today. The condition of prisons is miserable and worthy of thoughtful discussions. In Ramurthy versus State of Karnataka, year 1997, SC 1739, the present position of prisons has been described. The Supreme Court had said that the Indian prisons are crowded. In prisons, the prisoners are kept beyond their capacity. Proper facilities are not available there. The prisoners are tortured. They are not given the chance to meet their relatives. They are kept with severe offenders. The condition of prisons is miserable. In Vikram Dev Singh Tomar versus State of Bihar, AIA 1998, SC 1782, while eviction the condition of Nari Niketan Shelter House for Women of Patna, the Supreme Court had said that in Nari Niketan only the exploited, tortured and abandoned women are kept, but its condition is miserable. Its running is in dilapidated state. The building is completely insecure. The water is falling in drops from its roofs and there are no windows in the room. The women sleep in verandas. The wooden beds and blankets are available only for a woman. Most of the women have to sleep on broken floor only. There are no warm clothes. There are no stoves and oil to be used. Only 5 rupees per day per woman are spent on food. For water. Only one hand pump has been installed. There is no bathroom in the care home. There are no medical facilities. They are beaten on when complaints are lodged by them. This condition of Nari Niketan should be improved. Similarly, in Sheila Barse versus Children and Society, year 1987, SC 656, the Supreme Court has said while describing the condition of remand home and observational houses that children of destitute and criminal tendencies are kept in a remand home and observational homes. It is maintained at the cost of government, but its condition is very miserable. In these institutions, the children are exploited instead of rehabilitated. Begar and bonded wages are taken from them. They are sent in private establishments for work and remuneration payable there from is kept in the institution. In fact, the condition of these institutions should be such that there should be physical, mental, and intellectual development of children. They were able to return. They were able to return to society and be adjustable and be live as self-reliant and self-dependent. In Sunil Batra versus Delhi Administration year 1978, SC 1975, and Charles Sobraj versus Central Jail Tihar year 1978, SC 1514, The Supreme Court has said that it is condemnable to keep captives and prisoners in handcuffs and shackles for 24 hours. In Prem Shankar versus Delhi Administration, year 1980 SC 898, the Supreme Court considered it unconstitutional to put the handcuffs to the prisoners while carrying them from the prison to the court. In Kesar Singh versus the state of Rajasthan, year 1981, SC 625, the Supreme Court has said that while taking the prison from the court, it is inhuman to beat the prisoner's cruelly on the way and putting him on one side in the prison with handcuffs. This conduct of jail authorities is condemnable. From the above analysis, it appears that the present condition of prison is miserable. There is strong need of improvement in their condition. The measures of improvement of prisons, it is meaningful to make improvements in the conditions of prisons taking into account the greater responsibilities placed upon them. The following measures can be taken for their improvement. One is separate prison system. As we know, there is no separate prison for men, women, juvenile, and persons under investigation. All types of criminals are kept in one prison, which is not proper. When all criminals are kept in one prison, when it becomes overcrowded, there is possibility of contagious disease when they come in contact with each other. The fear of becoming a notorious and habitual offender prevails in presence of infamous and habitual criminals in the prison of young and first criminal. Scientific classification. The classification of prisons should be made according to the age, sex, religion, caste, and nature of crimes. It is not proper to keep all criminals at one place. Those prisoners who can be reformed, there should be such prison system for them so that they do not step forward crime and may become good citizens in such prisons. Correctional methods should be used. System of employment oriented labor. Labor arrangements of prisons should be employment oriented. Prisoners captive working in the prison should be given proper wages in lieu of labor so that their families do not have to face financial crisis. This will also create the spirit of self-dependence and confidence among the laborers. Proper facilities. The proper facilities should be provided to the prisoners to live honorable and normal lives. For example, suitable residence facility, nutritious food, medical facilities, proper clothing and proper education in prisons. Proper residential facilities should be provided to the prisons. To the prisoners, they should be provided nutritious food so that they may remain healthy. On falling ill, they should provide proper medical facilities. There should be reading rooms and library in the prison. Proper recreational facilities should also be provided. Freedom to meet with the relatives. The prisoners should be allowed to meet with their relatives from time to time so that they may know the pleasure and pain of each other, share such pain and pleasure, and may satisfy their sexual desire. When they are not allowed to meet with their relatives, then the habit of doing unnatural intercourse develops in them. Sometimes they commit rape also. Open prison system. The open prison system should be encouraged under the and changed context. There are many benefits of this system. The prisoners may be able to take breathe in open atmosphere. They will not develop the sense of inferiority in them. Their proper development of physical, mental, and intellectual will be there so that they may adjust themselves in the society. Open prison system is the need of the hour. Training of prison employers. The employer, the employers of the prison should be properly trained and training facilities should be provided for them so that they study the captives and prisoners on psychological basis. They may understand their spirit and need. They may reform them and make them good citizens. They may act according to human emotions and they may establish proper relations between the employees and prisoners, etc. Justice Krishna here is of the same opinion. Kindness occupies an important place. In prison administration, the officers and employers of prison should have a spirit of kindness towards prisoners. The prisoners and captives are part of society. Under Article 21 of the Constitution, they have also right to live a dignified life. Their fundamental and human rights cannot be taken away because of walls of prison. The walls of prisons are made of stones of law. This is possible only when the prison officers are properly trained. Initiative towards corrective remedies. The objectives of prisons should be to bring reforms in the prisons so that they may become good citizens in the society and may occupy a proper place. They should not be treated roughly but treated politely and humanly. To give them job oriented training, to pay remuneration for their work, to infuse ethical, religious, and spiritual instincts to them, to treat them humanly should be the objective. It may make them good citizens and the prisons may become more useful and ideal. For improving the prison system, a committee was constituted in 1980 under the chairmanship of Justice A.N. Mullah. The committee has made the following suggestion. Proper attention should be paid towards the residents' food and medical facility. The prisons should be open, clean and full of fresh air. Properly trained persons should be appointed in the prison. The prisoners under trial should be kept separate from convicts and severe offenders. There should be a proper system of parole, probation and rehabilitation for prisoners. The government should contribute proper financial aid towards the maintenance of prisoners, etc. In the matter of Raju Jagdish Ashwan versus State of Maharashtra A 1919 SC 897, the Supreme Court was instructed to the state to implement specific programs according to 2016 manual related to the rehabilitation of prisoners and detainees. In Ramurthy versus State of Karnataka year 1997, SC 1739, the Supreme Court has made the following suggestions for improvement of the prison system. The complaint box should be kept in all prisons so that the detainees or the prisoner may send his grievance to the higher authorities. Open jails should be constructed. The job oriented training should be given to the detainees and prisoners so that they may lead a life of self-reliance and independency. They should be paid remuneration for their labor. They should be given the benefit of parole and probation. The detainees and prisoners should be given the chance to meet with their relatives. An ideal prison court should be enacted for the whole country. The prisons should not be overcrowded. The detainees and prisoners should be kept according to their capacities. The juvenile and young offenders should not be kept with severe and habitual offenders. There should be a proper system of food, residence, and medical facilities. The prisoners under trial should be produced before the court from time to time. There should be facilities of reading room and library in the prisoners. The detainees and prisoners should not be kept under handcuffs and shackles in the prison all the time. They should be given the chance to consult the advocate of their own choice. The detainees and prisoners should not be given mental and physical torture in the prison, etc. The above suggestions given by Supreme Court will prove a milestone in the reform of the prison system. It will help the prisoners in getting the chance of leading a dignified life and they will be able to attach themselves with the main stream of society. That's defined victimology. Victimology is also called a penology. It is a part of criminology. In this, a person suffering from a crime is studied. It is scientific study of victimization. Victimology is a science studying the relation between victim and criminal, interaction between victim and criminal justice systems such as courts, improvement, institutions, etc. Relation between victim and social groups and institutions. The study area of victimology is not limited to the person injured by the crime, but it is extended to the study of people suffering from human rights violations. Victimology is a such discipline in which the subjects related to physical, mental, emotional, and economical problems are studied. It mainly studies crime, types of victims. Victims are classified in various classes, such as victims, victims from crime, victims from pollution, victims from misuse of legal and judicial procedure, victims from crime, murder, dowry, death, grievous hurt, deputy, robbery, assault, etc. Victims from pollution, gas leak, air pollution, water pollution. Victims from misuse of legal and judicial procedures, torture by police, non-violent death, death due to medical negligence, death due to electrical negligence, groundless arrest, etc. The following types of victims are reflected from these classifications. One is victims from crime. The first category of the victims belongs to those who are suffering from various types of crimes. In these crimes, mainly the body and property related offences have been included, such as murder, dowry, death, hurt and grievous hurt, assault and battery, looting, robbery. Physical and mental pain is caused to the person suffering from the crimes. Such person have the right to file criminal prosecution against the guilty and get compensation. In the matter of Subha Singh versus Davinder Kaur, AIA 29, SC 2163, the Supreme Court said that in the cases of criminal homicide, the victim can conduct criminal proceedings along with the civil action for the compensation. The action of civil compensation is not a prosecution and the degree of indemnity is not punishable. Thus, a crime victim in the criminal matter can conduct criminal proceedings along with the civil action for the compensation. It is also worth mentioning here that there is also a section of people suffering from crimes as well as persons suffering from human rights violation. Victims from environment pollution. A clean environment is essential for the human life. Environmental pollution is a threat to human life. This is the reason that environmental protection has been recognized as a basic right. Ram Narayan Mali versus Additional Collector Thane Aya 2008 NOC 1354 Bombay in the matter of Raj Mineral versus the State of Gujarat area 2012 NOC 179 Gujarat. It was said that the right to live includes the right to use pollution free water and air. Therefore, if the human life is put into the critical situation from the environment pollution, then then affected perfect will also be called as victim person. Such person also has a right to receive compensation. MC Mehta versus Kamalnath, year 2000, SC 1997, victim from misuse of legal and judicial procedure. The third class of the victim is those are affected from the abuse of legal and jurisdiction process. In this, the following are included: torture by police, custodian death, death due to medical negligence, death due to electrical negligence, baseless arrest, etc. Torture to arrested people, DK Basu versus State of Bengal, area 1997, SC 610, custody. Violence, Manishi Singh, Gautam versus State of Madhya Pradesh, area 905, SC 402, etc. are treated victimization. The person suffering from this is called victim person. Let's define the term victim. What provisions have been made regarding compensation for victim prison? Let's discuss the need of compensation in case of victim. What is victim compensation scheme? Definition of victim in general. A victim means the person who is victim of crime. The definition of victim is given in section 2 of Criminal Procedure Code 1973. Victim means a person who had suffered any loss or injury caused by reason of the act or omission for which the accused person has been charged, and the victim includes his own or her guardian or legal heir. So victim means a person who is suffering from any loss or damage. Such loss or damage is caused by any act or omission. Act or omissions are such that the accused person has been chased. The word victim is defined in Declaration of Basis Principle of Justice for Victims and Abuse of Power adopted by the United Nations General Assembly. Are victims means those who individually or collectively have suffered harm, including physical or mental injury, emotional sufferings, economic loss, or substantial impairment of their fundamental rights, though through acts or omission that are in violation of criminal laws operative within member states, including those prescribing criminal abuse of power. Such a person whose wife has died due to negligence of doctor is a victim. Dr. Kunal Shah versus State of West Bengal, year 2015, call 370. Compensation. The provisions are made for the victims for compensation in the various laws, such as there is a provision for the victims for compensation in Section 5 of the Probation of Offenders Act 1958, according to Section 5 during a criminal case. The court can be order accused to a compensation for the loss suffered by the victim while giving the benefit of probation under Section 3 and 4. Such compensation will be given to the victim by the accused. There is also a provision for compensation in Section 357 of Criminal Procedure Code 1973 under Section 357. The court will be able to order compensation for the payment of compensation for the victim from the amount of imposed penalty. Expenditure of prosecution, compensating for loss due to crime, compensation under Fatal Accident Act 1955, etc. Here it is notable that in the criminal matters, the prosecution can be conducted for compensation along with the civil action. The prosecution and compensation action are different. Subha Singh versus Devendra Kaur, year 2011, SC 2163. There are there is provision for the payment of compensation to the aggrieved party in the matters of fatal accidents as per the Motor Vehicle Act 1988. Victim compensation scheme by adding a new section 357A by Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Act 2008. It is provided for victim compensation scheme in the Criminal Procedure Act 1973. 357A Victim Compensation Scheme. Every state government, in coordination with the central government, shall prepare a scheme for providing funds for the purpose of compensation to the victim or his dependents who have suffered loss or injury as a result of the crime and who require rehabilitation. Whenever recommendation is made by the court for compensation, the District Legal Services Authority or the State Legal Authority, as the case may be, shall decide the quantum of compensation to be awarded under the scheme at the conclusion under the scheme referred to in the subsection 1. If the trial court at the conclusion of trial is satisfied that the compensation awarded under section 357 is not adequate for such rehabilitation, or where the cases end in acquittal or discharge and the victim has to be rehabilitated, it may make recommendation for compensation. Where the offender is not traced or identified but the victim is identified, and where no trial takes place, the victim or his dependents may make an application to the state or the district legal services authority for award of compensation. On receipt of such recommendations or on the application under subsection 4, the state or the district legal services authority shall, after due inquiry, award adequate compensation by completing the inquiry within 2 months. The state or the district legal services authority, as the case may be, to alleviate the suffering of the victim, may order for immediate first aid facility or medical benefits to be made available free of cost on the certificate of the police officer not below the rank of officer in charge of the police station or the magistrate of the area concerned, or any other interim relief as the appropriate authority may deem fit. The main purpose of this scheme is to reimburse the losses caused to people suffering from crime. Thus discuss the attitude of judiciary in India regarding compensation to the victim. Let's explain the Supreme Court guidelines with regard to compensation. Our judiciary has been sensitive since the beginning in relation to the compensation for the victims of crime. The Apex Court has supported the compensation for the party in many of its judicial decisions. It has always been a belief that person or his dependents suffering from the crime should get a compensation to recover from the financial crisis. At the same time, it has been a belief that the loss due to the crime should also be reimbursed. This is the reason that our Supreme Court has provided compensation to people suffering from crime in many decisions. It was decided in the case of Rudal Shah versus State of Bihar, AIR 2000 SC 362, that the loss occurred due to crime should be reimbursement by the way of compensation means compensation to be provided to aggrieved party. In the word aggrieved party, wives, children, parents of deceased are also included. It was decided by the Supreme Court in the case of Sarwan Singh versus State of Punjab AR 2000 SC 362 that while giving the order for compensation to victim, the following points should be kept in mind by court. Capacity to pay, nature of the offense, nature of the injury, social status of life, etc. It was decided by the Supreme Court in the case of Bhim Singh versus State of JNK, year 1986, SC 498, that compensation for illegal arrest and detention is an area which unearths new doctrines pertaining to compensatory jurisprudence. In this regard, one case of Bodhisattva Gautam versus Shubhra Chakravarti's whatever. In this, the Supreme Court said that rape is not against a particular person, but it is a crime against the entire society. The psychological thinking of women is loose by rape and its life gets darkened. So, in the matter of rape, aggrieved women should be financial support as compensation. In this matter, an order was given to victim of the rape as compensation of 1,000 per month. The period of consideration, it was decided by the Supreme Court in the case of State of Maharashtra versus Christian Community Welfare Council of India, AIR 2004 SC7, that the loss of due to defective work of an official can be compensated from the state. If the state wants, it will be able to recover the amount of compensation from the guilty official. In the matter of the matter of R. Gandhi versus Union of India 2004, CR Laws 510 Madras 33 lakh 19,000 per paid from the state government to those suffering from dues during the murder of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. The court shall legally and morally by all canons of fair play, by all principles of justice, equity, and good conscience, the state of Tamil Nadu is bound to pay compensation to victims as assessed and recommended by the senior officials, that is, Collector of Coimbatore. It was decided by the Supreme Court in the case of D.K. Basu versus State of Bengal Area 2004 ST7 that in the case of infringement of basic rights only remedies are reflected in economic remedies. Requirement of reimbursement for losses due to the defective acts of public servants is required as present time. In the matter of State of Andhra Pradesh versus C. Ramakrishna, then punishing it in this sympathy is displayed with the criminal by adopting a liberal approach so that he can improve his behavior by staying in the society. The essence of the above definition is that instead of punishing the convicted person with imprisonment, the condition of maintaining peace and morality for a certain or stipulated period is to provide an opportunity to improve upon production of bound and security characteristics. The following characteristics of probation are clear from the above definition. The benefit of probation can be given to a convicted person. In this, the sentence of the offender is kept suspended. It provides an opportunity to improve the sentence of the offender. In this, instead of sending the criminal to prison, it is often given to maintain good conduct while atonement for his criminal act by staying in the society. While fixing the period of probation, certain conditions are imposed, such as maintaining peace and good conduct, not repeating the offense, etc. In probation, the offender has to execute a bond with or without surety. During the period of probation, the offender is placed under the supervision and direction of the probation officer, and if the conditions are violated, the offender can be sentenced to imprisonment again. Objects, as it has been said above, that the main purpose of probation is to provide an opportunity to the offender to improve. In the matter of Baldev Raj versus State 1967-71 Punjab LR 158, it was held that the main purpose of probation is to provide an opportunity to the offender to improve in a free environment instead of punishing him. In the matter of Ramji Vishal versus State of Bihar, year 1963, SC 188, it was held by Supreme Court that the main objective of probation is to develop the tendency to improve young offenders by keeping them away from habitual offenders. In the matter of Ram Naresh Pandey versus State of Madhya Pradesh, 1974, MPLJ 186, it was held that the purpose of probation is to save young offenders from the company of notorious criminals by not sending them to prison and to prevent them from becoming hundreds hardened or notorious criminals in the future. In the matter of Shiv Charan Lal versus State of Haryana 1973, Rajasthan 167, it was held by the Rajasthan High Court that the main objective of probation is to provide opportunity to the offender to reform and make him rehabilitable. I thank all my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students, scholars, teacher, trainers, professors, professionals, officer, official, listener, learner. I thank respected doctors and directors. I thank honorable ministers and managers. I thank honorable advocates and ministers. I thank the most honorable President Mr. Modi ji. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Nice to see all of you. Good morning. Thank you very much.